All right, everyone, we've got Coach here to go ahead and get us started, and then we should have Mark Vierling coming up after him. You all know the drill. Just use the raise hand feature to ask questions, and I will call on you. Natalie, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, what did it mean to get this win for these seniors and kind of finish things out the right way?
Yeah, I think it was desperately needed, the struggles and challenges we had all year and just had a tough time of finding victories. And to be able to send our senior class out with their last game as a victory is pretty special. I mean, it was also, it was a lower pressure situation where you had a chance to really get all of them in that was available today and let them play the game. So, I was fortunate to be able to do that.
Eric?
Hey, Steve, I know coaches a lot of the time like to look to the next game and how you can build. Is there any – I know it's a long time in the future, but can you look at anything now? It's okay, we need to do these things in 2022 based off of what you saw kind of this weekend and in previous series?
Yeah, I mean, I think those not only just from this series. I think you start looking at the back third of the season, and you're starting to evaluate, where are some of the shortcomings, and not that we don't know that we just had a tough time on the mound this year, but we're going to have to go shore up some help on the mound for next year. And the good thing is the guys that you saw have the struggles this year, they were inexperienced, and the expectation for them was to be a bullpen guy and throw out of the bullpen and put them in situations where they can succeed. And, we lose a couple guys underperform and aren't able to hold down those roles, and we got to throw them to the fire. And, but they learned a lot of valuable lessons that, the problem is it was at the expense of a loss for the team. So, I think we got to build off the experience that we gained this year and, continue to bring in players that can compete at a high level.
Natalie?
If you could sum up this season, however it may be, whatever you learned, how would you sum it up?
It's really hard to sum up in one word because there's so many things, from just the challenges that we faced early going, and feeling like you're doing the right things in all those challenging situations, and then some of them backfire, some of them don't work out real well, and this just trying to have to adjust day to day, and being down a road we've never been down before. Of the biggest thing I think that cost us and cost a lot of other teams across the country is when you have a big group of guys and they haven't been together for a couple of years. And now you're social distancing them all the way through the fall, and they don't even really know their teammates by the time you play that first game. That's a challenge. We just didn't have enough returners that could help build that team chemistry. And I think it was tough to find throughout the season, based on, you start off the season and you win, it's going to organically happen. But when you're losing, it really takes its toll and it really rears its head up. So, but I think that one word is just disappointing. This was not, I would have bet that our record, at the beginning of the season, that it would be flipped from what our record is this year. I mean, that's just, that was the expectation that we had, and we didn't meet that at all.
Eric?
Beyond just getting experience, what are some of the other factors you can kind of look at? Okay, this can be better in 2022 or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, there's so many things because you don't lose 36 games unless there's a lot of things. But the overlying, I mean, the pitching was just not there, and not just the pitching. If we're going to get beat, I would prefer to get beat not by giving up the free bases and the walks and the hit batters. And we were able to defend on paper. We were able to defend okay. Our fielding percentage is fine, but I do believe that we have to have more range in the outfield. We have to have more range in a couple spots in the infield, and our catching situation has to improve from what it was this year. And all those things are things that can be fixed and fixed pretty quick. As long as we get to work, as soon as we're allowed to.
Natalie?
What would you say the feeling in the locker room is? Do you feel like there's optimism for next year? Or how do you think these guys that are returning are feeling?
Yeah, I think the returners, there's a lot of optimism because, they're looking at at it as it's time for them to step up and take a leadership role. And I think a lot of them feel like they've learned some things not to do, and that they want to avoid those things because they noticed some things that wasn't right. And I've had a chance to meet with some already, and those are the things. Like, we've got some, I think, really good key guys. You want your leaders, you'd prefer your leaders to be the guys that are out on the field every single day and succeeding, because it's hard to lead whenever you're not having a lot of success. And some of the guys that talked about wanting to lead, I mean, they're very special athletes, and I feel like that they can step up and lead, both by what they do and how they do it, and also vocally. We didn't have a lot of vocal leadership this year. We had guys that did the right thing and just, worked hard, but we need more vocal leadership in that locker room.
Eric?
And the runner trying to advance to third
sorry, but the
is
softball
thrown
stadium.
out 3 to
1 second
5.
there.
0 runs, 1 hit, 1 error, 1 left.
I know there's a lot of improvements you want to make to Taylor Stadium and all of that. What's kind of on the docket between now and the beginning of next season? Is it turf, or what's kind of your next goal in improving your team in that way?
Yeah, I think that the turf's always been the next thing in line. And I think we saw a couple plays this year, when we're trying to play a shift and we're playing our second baseman, our shortstop in the outfield grass, and we're seeing how that lips kind of formed. And, it quite frankly could have been what turned the first game of this series, whenever we got a ball that, is a routine ground ball that we could have gotten out, and all of a sudden it jumps up on Vierling and he bobbles it a little bit. But those are things that we have to get taken care of sooner. And really, I don't know what's on the docket because I haven't had a meeting with Mr. Stark or Tim Hickman there either. So, we got to talk about things that we can potentially do. And I think we got to get to work on them.
What would some of those other things be? If you know what I'm talking about, what would?
Well, no, I think it's all out there. I mean, we know that we want to change the sound in our stadium. We would love to be able to update our scoreboard and be able to use more graphics. And that one's served its time here. But we've got to kind of the appearance when people come in and making it an inviting atmosphere. And sound has a lot to do with that. And right now the sound pretty much blares down the hitter, but it's not really permeates throughout the stadium. So. And then the next thing is just, we know we're due for an outfield wall. And I think just, a clean look and getting a brand new outfield wall is going to help the look of it, and our padding and all that's ready to be replaced. So when you do those few things, and I think that, my plan is we get to work on it and we go out and we try to get some help, some from private funding, and get those things done so that we can clean up a few things like that and just continue to improve the program from an appearance standpoint and a facility standpoint, as well as improve the product on the field.
Any other questions, guys? All right, thanks, Coach. We'll get Mark Vierling in here.